Hey everybody, today I'm reviewing Swans Soundtracks for the Blind. This is a really popular album online, going any site, fucking Mew, RYM, anywhere really. People really like this album. The other notable thing about this album is its fucking length. This album is almost like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's a super long album, the length of a full-length feature film, and it definitely requires some patience. I'll say that right out of the gate. So first off, Soundtracks for the Blind starts off with an amazing intro-ish. I would say the intro is technically the first two songs because the first one bleeds right into the second one. So the first track, Red Velvet Corridor, there's no music. It's more of just like a sort of ease into what you're going to experience throughout the album. And then it flows right into I Was a Prisoner in Your School, which encapsulates the album. And I love I Was a Prisoner in Your School because it has every element of the album in it. It has these passages with recordings, really fucked up shit, because usually they're talking about fucked up shit or it just doesn't make sense. And then we have these more normal parts. I say normal in large quotations because it's normal in the sense that I can recognize that this is rock. It's a type of post-rock. And then it also has these more calm, drony, I guess, sort of portions where there's not really music happening, but there's noise happening. And I think the whole album, despite it being nearly 2 hours and 20 minutes, is able to keep this flow very well, and it doesn't like stray too much from the atmosphere that it creates. And the atmosphere I would love to mention, because the atmosphere, it's fucking haunting. That's literally it. It's haunting, it's dreary, but there's slight moments of fucking just rising, and it feels awesome. Those moments especially. I would say there's some tracks that stand out, especially from this. The main one being Volcano. I like Volcano, and despite it sounding like a dance track, which completely separate from the rest of the music, it still feels off. You can tell just by listening to the beat. There's something wrong with it. It's not normal. And that's what the whole album, I feel like, is trying to do. That's why I really like it. Now, despite the album being fantastic, I do have a few minor issues. There are some tracks that are just straight drone, and I really don't think they have a use on the album, or they could have been cut down drastically to improve the listening experience. Because let's be real, I do think the time is an issue. I don't think it needed to be 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think you cut a few tracks, cut down time of track, and you could get maybe like an hour and 40-minute album, which doesn't sound like a lot, but minus 40 minutes from the album makes it a lot more listenable. The only track that I would actually cut from this album though is YRP. I just feel the 7-minute drone doesn't really add anything to it, and I know what you're saying, but it builds, right? Because it goes from quiet to loud, and it does do that, but I just don't really feel like it's necessary in the album. But overall, this album is fantastic from start to finish. It just hammers you with the same haunting feeling of dread, and it never lays off. The moments that are spectacular in it, main two tracks being Helpless Child and The Sound, which are more traditional post-rock-ish tracks, I guess you could say, are phenomenal. Some of the best in post-rock, hands down. I think The Sound is by far my favorite song on this album, and it's really emotional. It's really beautiful. It's just one of the best post-rock songs I've ever heard. Really. If you don't want to listen to the album, at least listen to The Sound. Like 14 minutes, but it's definitely worth your time. But overall, I think the album is really special. I think there's no other album that can do what this album does. It is truly a one-of-a-kind album. But I do have some issues. I do think the time, and I do think some tracks could be cut short, and I think YRP could have been cut entirely. So for that reason, I'm going to give Soundtracks for the Blind by Swans a 9 out of 10. Still a fantastic album. Highly recommend that you listen to it. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I say this at the end of every video, but sincerely, thank you for the support. It's kind of fucking crazy that I'm getting this much support, and I really appreciate it. And more videos are on the way. I'm really trying to stick to the 4-day schedule. So I hope you enjoyed and have a good day. And why don't you